We are finally back from our trip out west. We went from the mountains of North Carolina to Wyoming. It was a 6-day trip, very short trip. It was basically unplanned. And the reason we went was to get this amazing horse trailer. It's a camping trailer and it can hold 3 to 4 horses, probably 4 because we have a small pony. It has a lot of cool extras that eventually Amy's going to show you. It turns out that this was a prototype for a lady that now works for a trailer company, and she does all these crazy add-ons, which is pretty crazy. So we had a 23-hour drive from North Carolina to Wyoming. We managed to spend a little time with my family in St. Louis, only a few hours. We stopped and about 30 people were there, which was pretty awesome. And then we just kept on driving. The first couple nights we stayed in some kind of crummy hotels. It was all last minute because we were trying to see how far we could get every day. But we went to Nebraska, and the people in Nebraska are very nice, but it's pretty flat. One big field, basically. There were some cool stuff in western Nebraska. We got to see some stuff about the Oregon Trail and the Pioneer Trail. And it got me thinking about original homesteaders, which I did a video on that. Then we got to Wyoming, and literally we're only in Wyoming 4 or 5 hours on the very edge of it. We wanted to see a friend of mine, Kevin from Hope This Works Homestead. It just didn't work out. We were on a very short turnaround. But then we went to South Dakota, and for 2 days we saw some awesome stuff. So in South Dakota, first we went to Wind Cave National Park. The park was closed. The cave was closed. The tours have been booked already. So we didn't get to go to the cave, but we got to see the one animal we were really wishing to see. That's right, we got to see prairie dogs. It was really awesome. I've seen a lot of cool wildlife in my life, but prairie dogs are one of the animals I hadn't seen. And Rowan was really excited, Amy was excited, we were all excited. And literally, we saw hundreds and hundreds of them, just several prairie dog colonies that expanded for probably several miles. It was insane. I was blown away. We also saw some sandhill cranes, we saw some pheasants on the side of the road, and we then went to Custer State Park, which actually is attached to Wind Cave National Park. And at Custer State Park, we saw pronghorn antelope, and we also saw... He's more dominant, so he's like, move it, bud. This is my territory.
My fucking ear.
Yeah, their faces are so cute, aren't they?
They're pretty. Their eyes are just so. Watch him knock that thing over.
There's no one rolling over there. That's a big one. Wow. They're all rolling. Mom was right.
He's next in line. Sometimes they find predators.
Oh. That's right. We saw wild buffalo. Some of the last remaining bison that weren't wiped out by people like us, unfortunately, by pioneers and settlers. But the good news is there's a decent amount of bison out west now, which is pretty cool. We got up close with a bison. It was pretty amazing to see. So after we went to Custer State Park in the morning, We went and we saw Crazy Horse. I guess Crazy Horse memorial, pretty impressive, outside of Custer, which is has a lot of history actually. I don't have any footage of the Crazy Horse monument, but pretty amazing. We also saw Mount Rushmore. Cool, but not as cool as Crazy Horse in my opinion. And then we kept on going. We had to stop at an RV place at Rapid City. We had the wrong adapter for our electricity. Then after that, we went to this famous place called Wall Drug. So check out some of that footage. Yeah, we're this way. All drug. Quite an interesting place. They even have Mount Rushmore here. There's this guy is stuffed, but it's pretty beautiful. This looks like Mount Rushmore if the Simpsons animators drew it. Beautiful. It was really cool to go to Wall Drug with the family. I had gone there when I was 17 with a buddy of mine on a road trip to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and I knew it was a, kind of a cheesy tourist trap, but a fun experience. We had bison burgers, that was delicious. Then we went to a place I had never been before. We went to Badlands National Park. I've been to a lot of national parks. I don't know how many. At least 30. I guess I'd have to count them to be sure, but a lot of national parks, especially when I lived out in California, lots of national parks out there. So we saw some pretty amazing animals in Badlands. Of our Badlands experience, we were only there for a day or even a few hours, half a day. Very rushed, but I'm glad we at least got to experience it. The next morning I woke up at 5 a.m. and we just kept driving. It was cool because since we have the horse trailer, we were able to camp in it, which is kind of the point. We did see a dinosaur, which that was unusual. out about South Dakota is that they really love their giant statues. We saw tons of other giant statues, a giant prairie dog. We saw a human skeleton walking a T-Rex. I mean, just crazy stuff like that. And then we just kept on booking it home. We still had about 21 hours to drive at that point. We just drove and slept. I think we stayed in a gas station parking lot for a few hours. Finally, we got home. We had some bad weather, but we dealt with it. And it was great to get back to our homestead, the place that really feels like home to us. There's something about the mountains of North Carolina that just speaks to me. My wife's family has been here for generations. So it's kind of part of her culture for sure. So we are excited to be home. We got lots of plans. I just checked on my bees. I checked on my queens. The queens are doing well. Everybody's doing well. It's nice and green here. It's almost May. We got a garden to plant. We got lots of stuff coming up. So stay tuned. And if you like our videos, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a comment below. And we'll see you soon.